You just hit the red button if you don't.
I'd high five them.
All right.
Does she know?
Let's call our meeting to order. It is 7 o'clock on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mark Vance. Here. Jeff Goings.
Here.
Owen Costanza. Here. Dan Cheek. Sine Hubbard. Dave Allgood. Here. Ken Garrett. Here. Chris Hopkins. Chrissy Richardson.
Here.
Dave Kurlankis.
Here.
Let's stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's no phone participation this evening. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Okay, by Jeff. Second by Owen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is passed. Do we have a motion to approve Board of Trustee meeting minutes from September 24th, 2025?
Second.
By Jeff, second by Owen. Any comments on this? Seeing that there are none, roll call, please. Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So meeting minutes from September 24th, 2025 have passed. Any public comment? No, we have an item. Okay. All right. Engineering report. Chris, would you like to speak on this?
On just a couple of updates. Paving was done today on Titleist Trail. There should be wrapped up with the concrete work here in the older section of town this week. They're thinking on Thursday they should be pouring the last of it. And pretty much most of the concrete work in Prairie Green is done. They've got a little restoration to do down there. So I think at the end of this week, they'll pretty much have everything knocked out. And then work has started along Orth Road at the airport. They've been making the sanitary sewer connection over the past few days. It's been going a little bit slow. There's very tight working conditions and a few things that could go wrong have gone wrong. So they've had to react to that. But I think after tomorrow, they should be out of the north side of the road and starting to lay sanitary sewer for the new subdivision. Thank you.
Any other questions for Chris? Okay, seeing that there are none. David is not here. Are there any questions or comments about the Public Works report? Okay. Ion is not here, but are there any questions or concerns about the test water report?
Yeah, the attention says Don Sattler.
I know, we finally have addressed that issue. I had to go up the chain to get it fixed.
Okay.
So,
Can I ask Chris something off topic, what we were discussing about the cost of electricity plants real quick?
sure.
Is that okay? Chris, looking at the billing, the south plant is a lot more expensive and we're running at capacity of like 30% or whatever. Is it, the motors that we use down there, do they have to be as strong as they are to maintain what we're running down there? Or should we consider looking at a smaller wattage pulling motors to like lower our electricity bills?
You know what, Jeff? Do you mind if I circle back on? Let me look into that a little bit.
Okay.
And do you mind if I circle back on that
That's
next
fine.
month?
We were looking at the bill
Yeah.
before the meeting with Christie and Karen. I was like, man, what a difference. It's like 3 times more than the
Yeah,
other plant.
it's a big
Yeah,
number. And
it is. And my knee-jerk reaction is, yeah, we have to, because the plant's rated at such a capacity, we
Right.
have to maintain the capacity.
Okay.
But let me dive a little bit deeper into that because
If you could just
It's a
give
lot
us
of real
like,
money.
Yeah, it's something we should look at or
Yeah.
no, it's just not going to be worth our while.
absolutely,
All
we'll do
right, I
that. Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
hang on one second, make a note. Okay. Any other questions or anything on the water from water waste report from test? can't talk tonight. I'm frozen. We need a motion, please, to discuss the hiring policy.
So moved.
Second.
Jeff, second by Owen.
You're just a machine gun tonight.
Yeah, man, you're just on fire.
All right, this is come back again. Trustee Hubbard had requested that we lay this item over so that she would have more time to prepare for it. So do you have some feedback this time?
I mean, excuse me, sorry. I read the memo and the suggestions. I don't see that they're in the, like the updates are in the ordinance. Was that intentional?
Yeah, they
We're
are
gonna
not.
discuss it
Right,
today? Okay,
correct.
got
Yeah,
it.
we've not asked legal counsel to draft anything.
Okay.
This is just at a discussion because this particular ordinance was repealed.
Yep, I agree with your suggestions. I think we need to address the 16KC and make a decision on that, but otherwise I don't have any issue.
1-6 case.
Right at the bottom.
Right here.
We're not screening.
Oh, that's okay.
Screening and interviews.
Yeah, so one 6KC, basically that particular section discusses whether or not a hiring committee should be formed. And my suggestions, are that we should decide if that needs to be done, and if so, who would serve on it, and in what conditions we would want that to be implemented. So,
What's everyone's thoughts on that?
A lot of businesses do it that way.
I'm strongly of the opinion that it should always be more than one person.
I agree.
Looking at these,
More than 1, 2, or 3, or 4,
at least two.
at least.
Yeah,
minimum
I mean,
of
there's
2.
not a lot of us, so I think two is at least reasonable,
Well,
but
you
I
gotta
mean,
remember OMA.
Right.
sorry.
OMA.
well,
So-
the committee doesn't necessarily have to be of just trustees.
I
So
mean-
for example,
Right.
we could have a hiring committee of myself. We could do the admin chair or the finance chair. We could have office staff or department head.
Right.
So, you're not necessarily running into an OMA problem that way.
Yeah,
So,
I would think office staff if it was office person, and then, public works if it's a public works.
agreed.
Right.
Yeah. so-
Director.
Agreed. I just think that we should formalize whatever we decide, so that it's consistent.
So office staff would consist of village president.
Well, no, I would say, I would think village president should be on everything, and then I would say the clerk for its office staff, and David, or public works director if it's public works.
Do you want a chairperson present or no? Like admin?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a fantastic idea. So,
Well, yeah, or fine. Whoever's available.
Right, like it could be situational.
Yeah.
Like a situation
Well,
where
and-
one
and
of the
like
chairs is available. they should-
and that's fine. If that's what we want to write it, we can.
Generally, with a couple days' notice, I could come during the day.
Right.
Yeah.
More so. In the winter time, I'm more available.
So, all
I
right.
don't
So,
know if I don't know about having you in an interview.
all right. So it seems as though we're in favor of having a hiring committee of 3 people, myself, admin chair, or finance chair, and a department head or whoever is of the department.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
that'll work.
All right. So I'll make sure that that is the case. So we can take out the word may because we are going to form. Okay. So we'll take care of that as well.
And sure. Did it say in there?
And I want to, so the second part of that, the selection offer, then that also indicates that at every circumstance of hiring, then. I just want to make sure that we're not differentiating for any particular role,
I agree.
whether it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the.
No,
No, and that's,
circle,
and
yeah,
that's,
what
I
you're
can
talking,
see though in a case though, for example, or we're not doing it, but in a case of hiring something like an administrator, there might actually be more people that you would want involved versus not,
Oh,
is what
I
I'm
see
saying.
What you're saying. So the language should say at least 3? Is that what we want to say?
Yeah, we could do that.
So you guys are saying,
Like-
have a min of 3, right? And then we could add hoc, or we could do a second interview too, right? Like, is that?
Well,
If you're gonna do an administrator, they should come before the whole board.
And we usually
and
do
that's,
that in
but that's,
executive.
but that's what I'm saying, that there could be circumstances of hiring that would require a different committee structure.
We'll just address it
And
at
just
that
put
time.
anything after the office and the public works that it would come before the full board. Because it seems like anything after that would need to come to the full board, like an administrator or.
Well, it's gonna have to come before for
Yeah,
any board.
any
Yeah,
final hire
Yeah.
can come before the board.
yeah,
I mean,
doesn't matter either way.
Treasurer, or-
it
Yeah,
would be a
doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, it would be a recommendation and then goes to the board.
right,
So, but I mean, we can't really address every scenario. I
No.
mean, it's just, if
but I mean,
the
those are the
village
two
gets to a
big.
size where
seats
it needs
to
an
fill.
administrator, then.
Right,
that's-
right.
That's gonna
I'm
be an
not, I mean,
executive
again,
that's
wasn't
gonna be an
suggesting
executive-
so, but just
Yeah.
wanted to bring up that particular
We'll
circumstance
just
as,
address that when it comes up.
So.
I mean, or it's hard to address every what if.
You can't.
Yeah, so it's we'll just address that when that
Put
comes up.
exhibit A, C.
okay,
right.
can we move on to the next bullet point on the memorandum, please? 16KD. There's some language that I find to be confusing, and I think that we should have some clarification.
Which one was it? 160 what?
KD, yeah, the next bullet.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, so,
Modify the language of this section. The use of the word appointment creates ambiguity.
Yeah, I wonder who wrote that.
The village has
Ambiguity.
positions of employment by appointment and positions hired via non-appointment.
Don't even know what that means.
So would we want to change number one? Are you saying to like say hires and then,
yeah, I just think it needs to, otherwise I don't,
otherwise it looks
it looks like
everything
it's
is a-
just an appointment, and that's not what we're talking about here.
I agree.
So I'm just trying to clarify the language, that's all.
I don't know what the
sounds
right
like
word
AI.
is, but I think hires is, yeah.
Yeah, and we can refer to legal counsel to have them draft
Sure.
that portion of it. And then 16KG talks about an implementation where it has an annual reporting of hiring practices and outcomes at least once annually. I don't see why that, it just seems like extra work to do. We're all gonna decide when we decide, right?
Yep.
So, all right, is there any other?
Remove it.
Use AI.
Okay, did anyone see anything else in the repealed ordinance that they would like? The other suggestion is I would like confirmation that this is not coming back as an ordinance. It's coming back as a policy passed by resolution. Are we comfortable with that? Because this is a repealed ordinance at the
I'm
moment.
comfortable with that.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be an ordinance.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, these
that.
procedures are typically a policy set by the
Yeah.
board.
We're gonna save $600.
Okay. All right, so Dave, did you catch all of that, Mr. Columbus? Or,
I don't know.
okay,
I think I've got most of it.
We'll play the tape back to him tomorrow.
Just go over a couple of things here.
Yes,
Steve,
absolutely.
yeah,
can you use this? so we can-
Yeah. If you're, are you going to use the minimum of 3 and then as needed, a larger committee?
Mhm.
And the 3 are gonna be you,
Mhm.
somebody from the office,
Well,
No, it would be
department head.
department head.
department head,
And then it would be admin or finance chair.
okay,
One of the chairs.
4, okay.
Yeah.
Got it, so
And/or.
it'll be the president, the department head,
And/or.
and/or, well,
Committee chair.
and the admin or the finance chair.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I got that.
Okay.
And then you want language in there that as circumstances
Mhm.
dictate, you can have additional members.
Mhm.
All right. That takes care of page 1. Let's make sure I've got it there. You want, for 16KD, you want to remove the appointment language in?
Yeah, we just want to clarify it as all hires, because it doesn't matter if it's an appointed individual or if it's just a hiring position.
Right.
So however you,
hires.
yeah,
We'll massage that.
Mhm.
And then you want to delete 16KG.
where it says, that's the last sentence of, the last sentence on there refers to reporting requirements. We don't think that we need.
Yep. I
Okay.
have it.
All right, excellent. All right, thank you, board. Appreciate it. Are we ready to move on then? Okay. So do we have a motion to discuss Lions Park agreement?
Motion to discuss Lions Park agreement.
By Mark, second by Dan. Mr. Kalinkas, would you kick off this conversation, please?
This has been, you can't see it on red line, but what? On red line.
Yeah, we printed out in color.
We apparently didn't put ours on. But you can see that these were changes that are being suggested here. One of the changes, I know the other day, we discussed in the office, the removal of limiting the Lions events to once a month. We took that out. So that was a change that was made here. This has been massaged quite a few times over the last, what, at least two,
10
maybe 3
10
years.
years. 10 years. It started out in 2015, but heavy in 2021. Right. So in 2021, it really,
You're lucky.
yeah.
Right.
So
Um, the whole point of this again was to elicit, your, whether or not this got the two parties together, and had something acceptable to them. My understanding is that there's not an agreement yet on the fees being charged. Is that correct? That's
That is something that we need to,
still being discussed.
well, I think we need to bring that up today.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
And the fee schedules, I understand, I guess right now we're in an ordinance in your,
there are some
Some.
fees, yes, in
Okay.
the ordinance.
and, I think the other thing was I guess what was still up in the air, subject to anything you want to add on this thing, is the fact about the reporting and how the funds are going. Is that, am I correct on that? Chris?
That was language that the board had asked to be included
Okay.
in this particular draft.
Yeah, so that's what we have here. Again, my charge this evening was to just kind of listen to what the suggestions of the board were, and get this in a form where eventually the board can vote on it.
Gary, I don't think everyone's seen the fee in our ordinances. Can you pull that up? The ordinance for our fees for our park usage.
do you need to know, that's probably not in our packet.
It's
It-
not. That's why I was asking if you could pull it up.
It's 642, if that helps.
Oh, I see. What's it? Yeah, sorry. Six, you said 642?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep, there it is.
So it's $10, $20,
hell was that?
25, and 50, or 75, 25.
I think we have too many mics on.
We shouldn't have to have, they should all work.
Wow.
So these fees were set in the 80s, I think, Roxanne? said?
1981.
Right there.
We've never updated them.
Wow. So it's cheaper to have a party for 200 people than it is 100.
Not being here,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean, I assume the intent was to hold something back in case it was damaged.
$25 for 100 to 200. It's $25 for 50 to 100. It's cheaper to have a bigger party. Yeah, I think we should definitely, because well, it's pretty cheap. I mean, it is People's Park.
Yeah. I
But
think-
this is per, Nick, can I get clarification? Right, the way that I understood the way that this was written was that is per use of the field, not or a field, not the entire park. That is for,
See, that's always, it's, we've never followed it. No one's ever followed it, including us or the Lions.
Okay.
Lions, I mean, even when I was on the Lions club, well, we'll charge $25 a game or $10 a game or whatever the discussion was. I mean, it's never been set. It's never been structured. I mean, we've never even, some of the discussions here, we've like, oh, we'll just take a donation for that. I mean,
When a resident calls and says, I want to use the park, what do we not quote this? It's
I
an
don't-
ordinance.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
this would
think we
be-
even knew it existed.
Okay.
Yeah, probably people probably don't even know that they could rent the park for
No, that's
like a
not true.
family.
that's not true.
Yeah, people,
I mean,
that's for
they-
permits. But I mean, a
How
lot
many
of
times have we rented the park to residents?
We,
I know of one for a wedding or something. There was in a family reunion once.
It came over in the information that the club had sent, because there have been times when there have been individuals who have rented the pavilion or they've rented fields
From
from
the
Lions.
Lions?
Yeah, because
Lions Pub.
because
does
right
all
now the office
scheduling.
has always directed them to call the club.
Hmm.
And so there is a rental agreement.
So this is
That
the
doesn't make
village's
sense.
ordinance?
Why would they call the club when it's our ordinance?
Exactly.
well,
I'm just-
back then it was a scheduling thing. I mean, now
That's
we
the
had a
other
Google
question.
schedule.
Is
We had a
there a-
Google. I don't know how they're using it. I mean, 4 years ago, there was
We need to have these
there was a
discussions
Google
for.
calendar that Katie was sharing with Lions Club. So
If we're gonna rent the park, the pavilion to a resident or even a non-resident or a non-for-profit, we should have a structured fee that would come to the village,
That's
I
fine.
think. And
Well,
then
and-
if
and
they're
then-
gonna do the if the Lions is gonna run the baseball, the football, there would be a structured fee. I think it should be a seasonal fee, not per game fee, which I think you do by head count, correct?
So currently, the club gathers, it's a $10 per register.
Per
Right,
person.
yeah. So if
Per
there's 200 kids that are registered for the season, it's 200 times $10.
It's $2,000.
Yeah. So
So if I might suggest, can we take a step back from that? Because I don't know that we want to get into the details of what the club is collecting for baseball right now. We just want to try to get something implemented to protect us. You know what I mean? But I do think we need to address who's scheduling this. First of all, is the public, as they should be, allowed to rent this property?
They are.
We have an ordinance. Who should they be calling? They should be calling us. It is our ordinance. And then is there some sort of shared calendar that's available to the office that is
And the club.
right, and the club, because obviously both locations should be able to see what's
Communicating.
scheduled. Yeah.
Yeah, the calendar should be a co-op situation. It shouldn't be the Lions Club calendar, and it shouldn't be the Village of Poplar Grove's calendar. This should be a published, accessible calendar that is co-op. And the
There-
calendar's should not be owned by anybody. It should be
The people.
facilitated by all parties.
Well, I know currently, I'll just tell you what's current. What currently the baseball program uses a software platform where all of the field usage is uploaded and that is available to the public as well as anyone who can see that calendar. What I don't know is if they're scheduling games, how that would work in a shared something else because it's automatically populated through that platform. So.
I'll have to figure something
So
out.
you would have it.
I'm just
generated for the
telling
whole
you
season,
currently.
Correct?
Sort of, yes.
Okay, so you would have it, how long is baseball? How long is football? 3 months each?
So baseball, well, it depends on what portions currently. So there's,
Well, all of them.
well, okay, so
Combined.
travel starts earliest. Okay, they start as soon as the weather breaks, so they'll start in February. Yeah, and most of the practices then will start in March. So there's a spring season. Gameplay starts in mid-April and runs all the way until like 2 weeks after in July at the worst case. And then there's a small break and then fall ball starts. And fall ball runs until literally,
July.
right,
in
so
middle,
the spring
right,
season,
right.
spring summer season is from March until July.
End
And
of
then
July
there,
or beginning of
it's like the second week in July,
second week, so mid-July.
right? And then there's a break
Father's Day.
and then there's fall ball and fall ball starts in August and goes until the end of October.
First, second week.
I'd have to go back and check. I want to say it was like the second week of
Okay,
August.
so we have about a month in between July and August where there shouldn't be.
And then,
anything scheduled.
well, no, because then you have football. So North Boone Junior Tackle, they start in August. They run their camps
Right.
for a couple of, I mean, straight, like weeks. They're like the whole week. They're out there for several weeks. And then there's set days where they have schedules and then their games. And they go typically until about the same time, depending on how their playoffs go.
Okay.
And then you were saying the schedules are readily available?
Yes.
And
Through the
where would you
platform.
We
find
could simplify this and just put a link on the village page
Well, it's whatever the board wants to do. I'm just telling you what's currently available.
What do you mean by a link?
to wherever she's saying it's
But
publicly
then-
available.
Shared
Okay.
the
calendar.
Lions?
Yeah,
But
like,
then if it's available, can we schedule in there and have that?
I'm sure
like,
I'd
not
ha-
scheduled over top of?
I'm sure that there's a way to add some sort of administrative rights to that. If,
I mean, I'm talking for like the residents to have it on there.
Just
Right,
to
so
Say
they
somebody
can
wants to
see
rent the
it,
building,
sure.
they click on that
Yeah.
link and like, oh no, there's.
and then what
a tournament
typically
going on.
happens, like for example, if somebody wants to rent the pavilion, then automatically that individual, they block out Diamond 1 because it's right there and they don't want, some sort of gameplay interfering with somebody who happens to be renting the pavilion.
Right.
So that typically occurs every time that there's a pavilion rental. They block out Diamond One. They don't charge them for Diamond One
How much do
usage.
they charge for pavilion rental?
$10, isn't it?
No, that's
What?
not, no.
It's based on a length of time. And I don't have those off the top of my head.
Is it on the Lions website?
It's not, it's what, it's just, I said this, it's not been consistent, period.
Is it on the Lions website
It's-
pricing?
No.
Why would it be,
Because they have been handling it. We haven't been renting,
we haven't ordered?
and I know we haven't ordered.
This is part of what I was saying
This is why we're talking.
months ago.
Okay.
Now, Dave, you've looked at other parks. Did you see how that's done?
I have looked at other publicly owned parks and talked with other people on how they're handling third-party agreements with village-owned parks and property. And one that really caught my attention that really made a lot of sense was a third-party agreement where the individual was going to set forth an improvement schedule. So say they have an agreement that's a 4-year term and they have pretty much autonomous control over that park. But during that time that they have autonomous control of the park, they have proposed, they are scheduling improvements that are going to be made to that park. So year 1, they're going to do bleachers. Year 2, they're going to do a concession stand remodel. Year 3, they're going to do something. And when they don't perform on that agreement becomes null and void.
Is that in lieu of fees?
How do they handle the scheduling and fees? That was my question more than
Well,
that part.
the fees were being handled by
Was it set by that municipality?
but not being handled by the village. It was being handled by the third party.
And they had a fee schedule set with the
Fee
municipality?
set- There's a fee schedule set, and it had been approved by the
Okay,
municipality.
that was my question.
And, it's kind of like, you say, I'm proposing to do this, but you can't limit me on the fee schedule. We have to work on the fee schedule so I can generate enough donations to make this improvement possible. And that's kind of where that latitude with the third party having the responsibility of collecting and reporting the fee collection to the village, that's where it worked out. You know what I'm saying? So there could be a shortfall clause where the village could fund a shortfall if they have a situation, like say you have COVID, you could either excuse or defer that improvement for that year because there was no revenue generated, nothing had happened, or the projected improvement was, say, an $80,000 improvement and they come off $10,000 short, that the Parks and Rec Department could, fund that shortfall. There could be a whole host of different things. My biggest concern is scheduling, and who is ultimately going to be responsible for the scheduling. Along with that, one of the biggest things that's got my attention with the park is I don't ever want to ever hear again that somebody was denied use of the park. It's a public park, and I heard that there were people that were denied use of the park by a third party. That was really kind of a tough one for me. Another one that was really a tough one for me was the third party violating village ordinance by starting a construction or remodeling project without properly obtaining the permits. Now, I know say, well, the building or the public works director was involved in it also, but regardless, he also knows that whenever we start a construction project, whether the village owns it, whoever owns it by village ordinance, it's required a permit. And when a project starts and it goes out into social media that a project started without a permit and without conversation with the board, this is a problem for me. This is why I say we need to have an agreement that assigns responsibilities, that assigns duties, and is going to be beneficial for the community, and it's going to be beneficial for all the parties that are involved, including the residents that may want to rent the park. If we have an ordinance that sets out a fee and we haven't been collecting it, or we haven't been doing anything with it, well, then we need to either get rid of that ordinance or make changes to that ordinance. or we need to incorporate that ordinance into this agreement. So there's a lot of moving parts that have to be dealt with on this. And I think this is not necessarily just an agreement between the village and the club, but this is an agreement that impacts the entire community, whether they want to deal with the village or whether they don't want to deal with the club, or how they want to be. The simple fact is it's public property.
Sine?
Oh, I'm sorry, you saying, go ahead.
That's okay. Does anyone have suggestions on how we can manage a cooperative scheduling? Mark?
I would say Microsoft, their teams and the Outlook, you can share calendars and you can,
So I agree with you, except for the fact that Christy said they use a specific software, which I'm guessing is geared towards managing sports activities and things like that, and that all gets uploaded. If we can, actually, if you can find the name of that software, and then I can do some research.
It's Sports Connect.
Sports what?
Sports Connect is who they're.
Pact or pact?
No, Sports Connect.
So I
Sports
can-
Connect.
We can research if it's compatible with something that we can share, because I think that's what we need to take care of first. We probably need to,
You need to do some more investigation on what you want
This-
from the fee schedule, because
this
the
fee-
ordinance is not there.
right. So this language about a fee schedule in this draft probably needs to come out the way that it's written, because it refers to an ordinance that,
Well, I'm thinking maybe we need to get a fee schedule from the club and incorporate that into and update the ordinance.
Well, and I guess the other thing that I think the board should decide in reference to fees is, what do you want to collect?
well,
Right?
so
Are you looking at it on a, like as Jeff recommended, for any organization who's going to use the park on a reoccurring basis, to come up with some sort of fee for that seasonal use, or X number of times, or what have you, right? Versus, or it's for a registrant fee or whatever. But I think that needs to be considered.
if the Lions Club wants to establish that, I feel like that's probably fine. We need to have something separate for anyone else that wants to use the public park.
Right, but
And-
even,
And then we establish a fee that we charge the Lions Club in general for just use of the land.
right, but even like North Boone Junior Tackle, they're not-for-profit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if they want to have their thing here at Village Hall, we don't charge Village Hall for non-for-profits, correct, Carrie?
No.
Okay. So I think what we should do, because think about how much the park is used. If we didn't have North Boone Junior Tackle, baseball, softball, all the activities that we have, our park wouldn't be used that very much. So I think you guys charge a fee per head. I think you should charge per organization, because they're all non-for-profit. And it's basically the parents that are paying these fees, correct? Okay.
$10.
I think,
$10 isn't a lot.
No.
but I think the purpose of this was to just hold, a little bit back to cover maintenance. Back then we didn't have
Yeah,
a
but
big
you know
budget,
what?
and then you give half it back or damage and cleanup, because we
Right.
didn't really have it.
Right. I mean, we empty the garbage cans, we maintain, we mow, we weed, we trim.
So it's a
It's a
public
village. It's a taxpayer expense.
Right. And I mean, football tears up the field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
But it's a
There's
public
poles,
park,
there's
but that's what
dirt,
we're here
there's
for. Yeah, that's
Labor,
what we're
we
here
just
for, yeah.
redid, the guys did a really good job with those diamonds. I was watching that with Public Works, and, they did that. That cost money. We had our equipment down there, we had sand trucked in, time, labor.
But we all pay
Liability.
but we all pay for that.
Right, we all pay for that. But I was gonna suggest that we come up instead of, let's try to get a better price, because like I said, if we didn't have these organizations, our park wouldn't be used as much. And it's
I-
good to see kids down there using the park. It's good to see kids down there when they're not the games going on. And it's good to see people using the walking path,
I think we need to get a copy of the fee schedule, and then maybe look at some other municipalities, what they charge. Or Caper Lions. Caper Lions rents theirs out all the time. They must have a schedule.
Yeah.
So,
Mark?
so another suggestion is, I know at work we use SharePoint a lot as well. That's another Microsoft project. And what we could do is we could easily put a link onto our website, create a form for the use or a usage request for the park. right? That we could collaborate and give, admin rights to the president of Lions Club or their designee, right? And then we could control it with like maybe an admin here and then an admin at Lions Park too. So we could control the calendar and the schedule, through SharePoint. I know you can give admin rights to SharePoint and read-only rights
Yeah, you
to
can. You
that.
can do it in Teams too.
So yeah, and Teams as well. So maybe we could come up with something that doesn't cost a lot, but then that would open that communication between the village and the Lions Club, right? That we could easily communicate back and forth, and then a resident could either hit our website or theirs and fill out that request form, and it could go to either both, right? Like the Lions Club and the village, right? So
both
we
get
could see that park usage request, and then, we could collect our monies with the ordinance that way, if that's what we choose to do to move forward.
Okay, Dan?
Thank you.
A lot of bouncing around. First off, the ordinance. I think we have to figure out if we're gonna amend this or not.
We need to.
Yeah, exactly, but I'm just saying, it's like bam, 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 different subject. We need to pick like two and work on them. We're all over the place from what I've been listening to right now. Why, I get that, but we're throwing out multiple topics at once. We got a whole draft to go through. Pick the schedule. Let's work on the schedule. Let's work on the fees.
Well,
We'll establish.
communication should be priority.
That's priority. I get that, which is part of the scheduling and the shared calendar. Let's concentrate on that. Once we get that figured out, we'll come back. We got to amend this.
Right.
But I mean, to be jumping all over right now, we're not going to get anything
Well,
accomplished.
we haven't collected
We got to
the
pick
1981.
2 topics. Let's hammer out these 2 topics, get them figured out. Like you said, you want to do some research on software and whatever will work for the scheduling for the shared calendar. Let's get that established, and then we'll move on. But we can't be doing this all at once. It's just not going
I
to work.
agree with you.
So the consensus right now for legal counsel is that they cannot move forward with any iterations until we've addressed these other issues.
Right.
It's
Because
not-
we
it's
don't
not
have,
gonna
we
happen
don't, we
fast.
don't have any language to add or take away.
No, we need to discuss and then come up with the language.
Well, I mean, so we need the scheduling. We need to see a fee agreement, maybe from the Lions Club. I think that's a start, and some from
Yeah.
other municipalities. Has the club had any input on, I know this was just done like yesterday, but have they seen it? Do they have any input on it?
No, this is the first time it's come back to the board for any language changes. The club has been not contacted with
So
this
shouldn't
draft.
we get this together first before we present
Yes.
it to the Lions?
Yes.
Well, we need to
should.
know about the fee. We need to figure out scheduling.
So
And we need input. I mean, they gave us no input on their response 2 months ago.
Well,
But
None.
they haven't seen this yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they saw a draft of it, but they
Oh, they
gave us,
did?
the email they sent us. They only talked about the club and their.
Okay, so we
but
need
they-
to
and we had no
ask-
input on the actual agreement from them, from that email.
So are
the
you
new president.
suggesting that maybe we get an ad hoc team of their leadership and
see,
talk this out?
I mean,
Like,
this, we need to get their input. I mean,
I
we're gonna
think-
spend all this time and.
well, shouldn't we put
I
together,
think-
it's our agreement, right? Like, shouldn't we
Correct.
put together what we want first and then
Correct.
present it?
Right, then
Yep.
present, that's
I,
what I was.
I really
Because
think,
there's additional items in this particular draft that were never presented before.
yeah, and I agree. I think we need to get our ducks in the row first, and then we start that negotiation with the Lions Club, right? So but we have to have our direction.
Yeah,
You don't want
Of
too many
what we
chefs
want
in the
to see.
kitchen.
Okay,
to me.
couple things
Chefs in the kitchen.
as you're thinking about this. One, if we're gonna do a fee schedule and update it, can we please think bigger than just Lions Park? We have many requests for, can I rent out the tennis courts? Can I rent out
Oh, okay.
all
So
the, you know,
categorize it.
Yeah.
think if we're going to redo this, let's do it all at once, right?
Is this ordinance already specific to anything? Or
This-
It's just rental in general?
Facilities.
It's
Park
facilities, and
facilities,
back
park
then when they did it in the 80s, it was just Lions Park.
Okay, okay.
So let's bring it up. Two, if you want,
Wait, please.
if you want a scheduling, Munico does have a portion of their website that we can add on to that is specific for sports. Okay, I don't know what it costs. Our Parks Department in Whitewater had it. They were happy with it. Don't know anything about it. So that is an option.
So, we'll need to
All right.
Three,
get some answers.
when you're looking at this fee schedule, you have to remember we cannot charge to rent out Veterans Park.
That's not what Roxanne told us on the phone the other day.
Per ComEd, if we generate any revenue, then I have to pay for a ComEd bill.
We're
Is it
not.
considered revenue though? If it's just
We're not for
maintenance?
profit. I mean, it's a fee schedule. It's not.
Who told you that?
All right.
It was part of the grant to
Yes.
get their,
Okay, so we've got some further investigation on that side. So, right now, let's try to get to a consensus of how we're moving forward so we can continue on. So right now, we're asking for some information from the club,
Yeah.
right? We're going to do some additional research to address the reservation fee schedule here before we come back and add additional language to this draft. Does that sound correct to everyone?
Can I give a quick summary? And maybe Mr. Kurlingus, you could help me out here. But I just want the board to understand the approach that we're taking. We just want to establish some sort of an agreement so that we have some protection as a village, right? And I think money stuff aside, it's important to establish the communication first.
Yes.
And then what we discussed was that this is just what we had discussed. I'm not saying that this is the way we have to go, but continue to let the Lions charge according to what they're already charging. And then we as a village can decide what to charge the Lions Club on like an annual basis for maintenance and things like that and things that might need to be. Okay. So that's kind of the thought process behind that. So it's more generic and just so that we can get something established. I don't know that we need to get into the nitty gritty of like every little thing that they're charging for, but we should address this separately as well. Our facilities fee
Well,
schedule.
we need
Alright,
to make
Mr.
sure that we're covered liability wise.
Exactly,
for
exactly. And
insurance
that should
purposes.
be in here.
And then I guess I got to chime in. You're saying like an annual payment for maintenance. The maintenance is covered by the taxpayers. I mean, we don't charge maintenance for any other parks of any sort. They're still mowed and they're still taken care of. It's paid for by the taxpayers. So why would we do it for one park and not all parks?
Because there's a usage difference between.
Well, I get
parks.
there's a usage difference, but they're
A
still
lot of
all
usage.
maintained.
Right, but a park is something you provide to your residents, and it's always gonna be a loss.
Yeah.
And this is always gonna, Lions Park is always gonna be a loss. Quimby was commissioner of Wooddale Parks. He was on that board for many years, and he said that, that's what made me think of it. It's a service you provide to your residents. It's never gonna be a win. It's always gonna be a loss to the taxpayer. That's a service you provide to your residents. So what we, as a village, need to do, I don't care about the fees. Like I said, it's a service we provide to our village residents. It's gonna be a loss, but we just need to be structurally communicating, structurally covered for insurance purposes, because I know there's some language in there where the club is gonna carry some type of liability insurance, which is something they've never done previous years.
No, that's not true.
They have it. They
Oh,
have
they do?
insurance.
Yeah,
They
and
have
they
insurance.
then they have a separate one too on top of that for
I'm not real
baseball.
involved in the Lions. I volunteer when I can, but we need to make sure that like the communication is key. Any projects that are done, the board needs to be knowing about it. All proper permits are pulled for anything that's changed in the park. You gotta have a complete agreement from the board for any changes, things like that.
Yeah.
All the little stuff can be done, through ad hoc committee or communications between the club and the village president. As long as the board's aware of it, I'm good.
Yep.
Whatever we decide as a board, that's how it should work.
But back to the.
So for clarification, were you agreeing with me or not?
I'm
You
agreeing.
kind of wandered off there.
No, I'm agreeing with
But I think it's important that we know what the third party administrator is
Exactly.
charging. Because
Yes.
if we rented the kitchen out here and someone said, "Hey Jeff, they're charging me $40 for $10 steaks,"
Right.
we're gonna have to answer that.
Right.
We
And
don't know what they're
We're
charging.
charging more for Village Hall than we are for a whole park.
But we've not been doing.
But we haven't been charging anything.
No,
basically,
right.
for the
Well, I
park.
mean, sometimes they ask for a donation though, and that's what that came up with the Veterans Park thing. And like, where does it say we take a donation? I mean,
Right,
it's
it
just
doesn't.
kind of
We
being
don't-
made
we
up.
don't take donations.
But I mean, I think
Well,
it's
we can.
important. We're leasing out, agreeing to put this, we need to have, what are you charging our people?
Right.
So-
The thing that's important to me is one, communication.
That's the key.
Two, assignment of responsibility so that we know.
Then do you agree with what responsibility is in this draft?
Right, as far as the fees, I don't care if the village charges them an annual fee or if there is to the park in lieu of a fee. I don't, that economic part of that is not what concerns me. It's the liability, it's the communication, and it's the availability of the park to people who wish to use the park, who are residents that really don't want to deal with either one of us. I mean, I'm going to say there are probably people in the village that don't want to deal with the village board, and they don't want to deal with the Lions Club, but they want to use the tennis court, or they would like to have a picnic in the pavilion. So
All right,
we
so
need to be able to facilitate.
let's just get back to being able to, how are we going forward with the draft in front of us right now? What consensus have we made? And so we can give guidance on what's forward.
So first we need
Scheduling,
schedule.
Okay,
and then we need to have an agreed, or see an examples of fees.
Scheduling and a way to share calendar.
okay.
Scheduling and we share scheduling.
Because I feel like there's a disagreement on how we're proceeding. That if that means that we're not doing anything else with this draft until that information has become available and the board looks at it.
I think we can't. Yeah. Can I ask a couple questions just for our follow-up? Carrie, are you able to get us a little more information on what is available in Municode?
Yeah.
And then does the village already have like a full suite of Microsoft?
Office, yeah,
Yeah, we have
365.
360. Yeah,
So Teams and
Yep.
SharePoint,
we have essentials.
just so that I'm not,
Yep.
we're not looking into something that we have to pay extra for.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, we
okay.
have 360 essentials. Thankfully.
All right, so Dave, at this point, there, we cannot give you any further direction until we gather some more information,
So,
Correct.
right? Just,
If I could make one statement on it, and I've listened to everything that everybody said on this thing, but, going back to the scheduling, somebody, and I know we've got shared calendars and Google calendars and Microsoft Suite and all that stuff. Yeah, I think you need to have one of the entities responsible for the scheduling. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work just having people shoot stuff in, and then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna look, somebody calls up and says, I wanna rent part of it for a wedding reception or something like that. What Mr. Olin was saying, that a resident comes up and wants to use it for some reason. Whether or not they like the board, whether or not they like the Lions, really doesn't matter. They've got to know where to go to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
your village hall website. They should come to our website.
Then that
For
needs,
rental of the park only other than games would go through.
right.
We should
And-
establish that.
Yeah, and that was the attempt in the scheduling language that was here, was that the Lions were supposed to submit their annual usage. And then once that's been submitted, that blocks out certain
Dates.
usage at certain times and so on and so forth. But they're submitting it, by phrasing it that way, they're submitting it to the village. So they get first choice, no question about that. And they're dealing with all of these clubs and people who are, or organizations, I should say, groups that are using that stuff. So that takes care of that. But then, again, when a member of the public wants to see whether something's available, or if they're gonna come to Village Hall or go to the village website or do whatever on a thing, then that's what everybody has to do, I think. And as far as the maintenance fee, I don't have any. I know Roxanne, she was prepping me for the meeting tonight, and she had one question. She said, what fees, if any, is the village charging for the use of village property, for the Lions' use of the village property? And she tied that into and said, is there a maintenance fee? And I understand, that it's a public park. I understand you're maintaining it and so on. But the other thing is, you've got to somehow come up with a way of determining, these groups that are being lined up,
Right.
whether it's baseball, softball, junior tackle, whatever other thing. They're being brought in and using the facilities in a way that it wouldn't be if you were just out there and saying, well, we'll just let the fields go, and we're not gonna focus and concentrate bringing groups in to use this, but you are. Okay, I mean, that's what you're doing. So that's a philosophical issue that you have to come to grips with, whether or not you're just gonna say, well, people are giving us a chunk of their property taxes, so that becomes our responsibility to maintain the park on that.
Well, the village owns it, so.
Yeah,
it is
but
our responsibility.
there are there are down payment fees and so on, or reservation fees and so on that you can hold to see if there's something unusual that happens during the usage. If not, you give it back to me, you refund that payment. But those are all, like I said, those are philosophical things that the board's gonna have to determine which way to go. on that.
This is a public park, which I just think this is still the Lions Club's main source of fundraising.
No.
It's one of the major parts of it. It's not, I don't know
I
anymore.
mean, they don't make a lot off. The concession stand is part of the program. And
Yeah, I saw the numbers, but
so, but, I mean, everything pretty much that they make in reference to the program that they run goes back to pretty much that program, and then adding more stuff to the park from those funds.
one of the years they gave money to third parties on one of those things, but that's fine. It's a public park, and they have carte blanche use of it. It's a public park, but yeah, it's got to be established. I mean, we can't sit here and say how much it is. Nobody knows. It's a donation. What can I get out of you? I mean, it's kind of, I've been in those meetings with a long time ago with Ron Maxey. Well, maybe we can get this much out of them. We can get them to clean this, and we can get them to clean that. Like, there was no set anything. So that's all.
But we're still at a point though where we can't change any of the language until we have those other
No.
pieces.
Yeah, we need
So-
some information. from you.
Okay.
More investigating.
Yep.
Yes,
So this will have to come back when we have more information.
right.
Okay. Can we move on?
Yes.
Okay. New business. Motion to approve ordinance 2025-27, an ordinance of the Village of Poplar Grove, authorizing a special use permit for a restaurant with drive-through for the property commonly known as 13675 Illinois Route 76, Poplar Grove, Illinois, with a PIN of 0326200-010, and for approximately 0.30 acre portion of property with PIN number 0326200-08, located in the general business district.
Move to approve ordinance 2025-27.
By Dave,
Second.
second by Owen. Before we get started, we had a Poplar.
Yes.
you.
A representative is here. Her name is Carrie Williams. If you have any questions, otherwise the drawings are on your in front of you.
And Carrie, did you want to say anything to the board before we proceed? Or just to be, okay, just wanted to make sure.
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Allgood?
I did attend this planning and zoning hearing, and I was very delighted with their decision. There were some questions that came up through this three parts of this, because there's three components that belong to this. And the only issues that they really had were, really non-issues. Questions like, why should the drive-through face the busy highway? Well, we have another drive-through that faces a busy highway at another local business. The height and presentation to the street. We have two businesses in a row straight down the street where their presentation side is not to Route 76. So this is nothing really odd or unusual about this. I didn't hear anything negative from many of our constituents about this. I believe that this is a monumental step forward for us.
Comments? It is.
Any other members have any comments?
I have a comment.
Okay,
So,
go on.
So this conversation started a few years back with Pam Bettis. So the owners of this parcel of land were resistant to sectioning this off to have this usage. They were interested in selling it though. So I had reached out to some people and we reached out to Steve Thomas. So a big thanks goes to Pam Fettis and Steve Thomas, who actually it wouldn't happen if Pam hadn't been very tenacious about it. I mean, we were on very many Zoom calls. I couldn't disclose any of it because it was still all in preliminary studies. But this wouldn't have happened without Steve Thomas and Pam Fettis from Growth Dimensions. We got the ball rolling on that. That was the thing. I told a few of you that was working. I couldn't tell you what it was, but we did many Zoom calls with the real estate agents that were representing the people. But it wouldn't have happened without Steve because the previous owners were just resistant on carving out this piece of property for them.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, then let's have a roll call, please.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-27 passes. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-28, an ordinance rezoning an approximately 0.30 acre portion of the property with PIN 0326-200-08 from R2 to which is single family residential to District 2 general business in the village of Poplar Grove, Boone County, Illinois.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff, second by Sine. Again, any questions or comments?
The only comment I have on this is this piece is being added to the development to help accommodate the size and shape and drainage and so on and so forth. So in order to make everything fit right, they actually had to borrow a piece from adjacent parcel. And that's what this is all about.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allgood. Any other comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-28 passes. Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate it. Let's move on.
Just if you had questions.
Yep. Motion to discuss approve check disbursement for payment scheduled to be paid October 23rd, 2025 in the amount of $394,576.36 in AP checks, $22,694.83 in EFTs, $16,806.60 in insurance, and an estimated payroll $56,947.71 for a total of $491,025.50.
Move to approve total disbursements of $491,025.50.
Second.
Second by Jeff.
The largest part of this is our, big portion of it's our payment.
Yeah, so this particular, and I printed off another one because this one was a little,
Sorry.
yeah,
got a
for whatever
little-
reason. So I put each one on your diocese spaces this today, and I sent it to the board ahead of it. But this has our bond payment in there. This has our first MFT payment in here. This has our equipment purchase for West Grove Park in here, which is 27,000 of that. So, plus just a variety of normal bills. In reference to payroll, what you're seeing is our current payroll plus all of the retro has been paid, as well as it was time to pay trustees. So that is why that number is that way. Does anyone have any other questions?
Roll call.
All right, roll call, please.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yeah.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
You keep calling Snake last.
The disbursement
Next
of
time.
payments, $491,025.50 passes. Do we have a motion to discuss raffle permit ordinance?
Motion to discuss raffle permit ordinance.
Motion
Second.
by Mark, second by Dan. Carrie, would you like to, actually, Mr. Klinkus, would you lead off on this one, please?
Who seconded?
Dan and Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump to Carrie in a second on this too,
Okay.
because the issue, and we've been discussing this for quite a while too, is the trying to maintain consistency with the county ordinance, number one. And then, whether or not you're gonna have and I think Carrie, you can address this, you're talking about a two-tiered fee structure, whether, depending upon whether the applicant is a not-for-profit or a for-profit organization too. And like I said, seems like we've had discussions on this off and on for quite a while now. I guess here's your memo coming up here.
Yeah, this is in reference to raffle, not the hall rental.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Skipped one.
yeah, we're on the raffles,
Raffle.
where it's for a non-for-profit. I thought based on our conversations that a for-profit was not allowed to have a raffle permit.
The way that the county ordinances are usually structured is that
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
that they cannot be a not-for-profit, but maybe I took my notes down wrong here. I thought Carrie was looking at
Where hall rentals is
that's
different.
the hall rental one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I spilled
Yeah.
over to the wrong one, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, so, the state law changed here a couple of years ago. And they redid all the raffle licenses unbeknownst to the village because when they did that, they took away being able to do having a raffle license to a for-profit. So when our bars come, they shouldn't be getting raffle licenses. So the 2 bars that get raffle licenses every year, they cannot do it anymore. So what we're proposing is that we redo the fee structure so it's easier for our non-for-profits to do it, because what happens is happening for both those bars is they get it and then they do the meat raffles for the non-for-profits, right? So our thinking is if we make it one, easier to get a raffle license, 2, cheaper to get a raffle license, it will, and the bars will still be able to do what they're doing, but the raffle license will be on the non-for-profit to become in state compliance.
That would be in compliance with this.
Yes,
So each raffle, they just have to have whoever they're donating to get the license.
yes. So right now, a non-for-profit can get a couple different licenses. One, if they can get a one-time no fee, nothing. They get that one calendar year. So if the PTO of North Boone is only going to do a 50-50 one time during their big carnival event, that's what they would get, right? Then you have stuff like Thunder or Boone County Tackle Football that does a 50-50 every game, right? So they get a year's license. Right now, when we redid this back in 18, we redid it so inconsistent with the county. The county has since lowered theirs. So for when ours is currently sitting at, for a year license, it's $100. The county is $25
For a nonprofit.
per non-for-profit, but they can hold 52 raffles a year, whether that be a 50-50, you're going to raffle off a half a cow, you're going to raffle off liquor, whatever.
Allowed one a week.
One a week. And then I think there's a provision in the state code, and we've never run into it, where if they go over the 52, there's a provision on how to go about doing
What
that.
kind of fee we're looking at for individual circumstances?
Like meat raffles.
Yeah, like one.
I say we just get rid of all the classes. You do one license. It's a year license calendar, or if they get it November 1st, they get it next November 1st, whatever you guys decide, but $25. Make it easy. So you
And
can
they're
have
good for
one
the year.
per, and they're
Each-
good
each
for the
person.
year.
25, and then the one for the year was 100.
Right now, the count, because the county has lowered theirs to where they're 25. So we would come in so that it would be easier for our non-for-profits in Poplar Grove to get a license.
So
for
how
us.
does that work? I mean, would the fire department be considered non-for-profit?
They're friends of Boone.
Well, like I know the last meat raffle was for them. How would,
They have their own like their third party organization that runs all that for them. Yes, they are non for profit. Yes, they would just get that license at $25.
okey-dokey.
In the county. So,
No, they can get it through us.
oh,
Yeah,
They would get it through my
25
office.
bucks for the year.
but we've been charging them.
But we weren't following what they just said ordinance. Or,
You
What'd you say,
don't have
statute?
to, but I think it's a disservice to our local non for profits not to.
Okay.
And I've had other non-for-profits not pull a raffle license because of the fee.
$25
No, of the 100.
The 100.
Yeah.
I know my kids' sports programs that are non-for-profit, they go through the county. And I'm here to tell you, the county, they need your firstborn in your arm and your leg with all their paperwork, and it's very
And
confusing.
you have to go before the board.
And you have to go before the board.
so I guess my next question would be, so, all right, say that non-for-profit got their 1 year permit and the bar does a meat raffle. Is it just agreed upon, hey, we know they got it, or do they got to present it? Does the bar, they got to let the village know that the
They
raffle's
still-
happening?
They still have to report to me.
They gotta
There's
report.
still state reporting requirements. For example, Savannah Oaks, they have an organization that is a non-for-profit that runs all of their raffles, anything like in that sort of space, out of their clubhouse. So, and he probably once a month, in the summer it's more like every other week. He sends me an email of everything they did, who won, their name, their address, and how much they won. Because if they ever get questioned, it's all accounted for, and I have a report.
So can we just,
Wait.
instead of,
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead, and then Dave will have to speak.
can we can take action on this tonight and approve
No.
it, right?
No, we have to change the ordinance.
I know, but we can say all.
Yeah.
Change the ordinance
No, we
without
don't need to
bringing
take a
it
vote. We
back.
can give consensus so that,
Yeah.
that they can draft
So
it and we
does
can
that
bring it
come
back.
back?
No,
No.
it would still have to come back for
Because
actual.
it's an ordinance.
It's only for discussion.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought you could take action on
Yep.
something.
Dave, Mr. Allgood?
Could amend it, but-
Maybe legal counsel can help me out with this just a little bit. Aren't there state regulations and prohibitions on raffles taking place in venues that have gaming machines?
I believe that there are, however, the situation here would be, what Carrie's described, is the raffle would actually, you're talking about the difference between the group has on the license
Mhm.
and then the location of the raffle. You clearly couldn't do a raffle. The owner of the gaming place couldn't do a raffle. They can do a raffle on behalf
Can you talk into
of
the
a
mic, Dave,
not-for-profit.
so that everyone can hear you, please?
I'm
You can move it
always
forward
looking
if you'd
the wrong
like.
way. No, that's, I'll try to remember.
Tell Mike on it.
You're the applicant has to be a not-for-profit.
Yeah.
But the location, well, many not-for-profits don't have a location,
Right.
they do anyway, so they would enter into an agreement with the establishment to conduct the raffle, right? So I don't think it would be a problem. I'd have to look it up for sure, Dave, but I think the situation is that the location is separated from the raffle license holder. Carrie would have the raffle
Yes.
license holder. She would be issuing if you decide to go with this for $25, she'd be issuing the permit for the license for a year. But I would have to look specifically in the Gaming Act to see if there's any kind of prohibition that you're checking.
Yeah, and that's, and the reason why I asked that is that, I'm familiar with the homeowners association out west, very large group of individuals. They own a restaurant that has gaming machines in it, but yet there's a group of members that created their own not-for-profit and wanted to have one of these raffles in this establishment, and they were told they could not do it because it was going to violate the gaming laws.
Well, again, I would have to look specifically at the Illinois Gaming Act to see, but, you know, taking into what you're describing here, if that's what their legal counsel told them, or the gaming board told them, you'd have to go with that. But I would want to check specifically.
Yeah, I
on
would
that.
want to check to see if there's any
Yeah,
caveats or
Prohibitions.
restrictions that
Right.
we would have to be aware of before we jump down this rabbit hole.
Well,
We- I
regardless, the situation is that we can't have not-for-profits pulling raffle license, regardless of where they're hosting them. So so the issue, the question that you raised to Mr. Galinkus is actually separate than the issue before us.
So
Because it doesn't matter, your question is in reference to where can the raffle hold that particular,
Did everything just go out?
hold that raffle. That is different than the issue that we currently have. Which is we have individuals who should not have a raffle license who have raffle licenses. And this,
And they're being distinguished how?
it's by non-for-profit status.
So,
So if you're a for-profit business, you cannot have a raffle license.
Christie, your mic went out. Can you, you have to
is
speak
that,
up?
is that village ordinance or is that state law?
Oh, that's state.
that's state law.
Yeah, that's state law.
Okay.
Broken.
Out. Broke it. Mine's working.
So for this, we just need to decide. Thank you, Mr. Clayton. So for this, we need to just to basically decide, how to move forward with the raffle licensing permitting situation. And then Mr. Kalinkas can circle back to where can those raffle applicants and license holders hold their events.
And what you're gonna do with the fee? Are you gonna reduce the?
Yes, and are we going to reduce the fee?
Yeah, the 25 for 1 year.
Yeah, and the other question was raised, do we eliminate all other classes of licenses and just have a single class?
Single raffle
A
class.
single, yeah, because right now we have A, B, C, D, and E.
How many of those do we use a year? All of them?
We only use D or C.
Say one class, 25 for the year, and call it a day.
Do we have a consensus for that?
That's fine.
We do, and we also have a consensus to reduce the fee to $25?
That all aligns with what Carrie was recommending, right? Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. So I think that's all we need on that one.
Right.
All right, thank you. All right,
Now we're on.
yeah, now we're on hall rental, so hang on a second. Motion to discuss, please. Break that one.
Move to discuss.
Motion by Owen,
Second by Mark.
okay, second by Mark. All right, I'm gonna have Carrie lead off on this one first, Mr. Klinkus. Okay,
Okay, so currently, this is how we've always been doing it. We don't have any policy that we have found that the board has ever passed. Hall rentals are currently $75 with $150 security deposit. We rent, you can rent as long as there's not a village event or a village board meeting, right, during the week. Non-for-profits, we've never charged. And if you rent on the weekend, we only allow one rental a weekend. Because we don't have any type of cleaning to come in here in between to make sure that Saturdays didn't leave it a mess. We used to, back when I first started, and it ran into, we came in here Monday, it was trashed, and we didn't know who did it, right? Was it Saturday or Sunday? So we stopped that. We we ask that if you are, cheer, baseball are going to use the lawns around Village Hall, that they let us know so that we have had it where somebody has rented the inside, but then a sport shows up to do batting practice out on a ninth outside and it has caused problems. So we'd like to see a resident and a non-resident fee structure, giving our residents some type of a break. We need to get an updated security deposit policy right now. And if you're in finance, close your ears. Right now, we just hold your check in the safe. So if you rent right now in March, I'm holding your check in that safe until March.
So what we should do going forward is we raise the amount for the rental for resident or non-resident, and we incorporate the deposit with the fee, and then a village check will be refunded to them once their rental is complete.
Agreed.
Agreed. And inspected. And that's what we agree. Also, I know we don't charge for nonprofits. I don't want to charge for nonprofits, but I think we need to ask them once a year that they give us a security deposit. You guys decide on what it is.
So I did have a question on the,
Make sure they're clean.
on the deposit. Does $150, does that cover a cleaning fee?
No.
Like, let's say somebody did leave us, a mess. Would $150, is that sufficient to have that cleaned up?
When's the last?
Sure it is. We pay $280 a month.
Well, this would be an extra.
No, we pay.
$12.50 a month.
Don't tell him that. He's gonna want to come down here and start cleaning.
We pay that a month.
And that includes twice a week plus Lions Park. I'd have to ask them what time,
Do it, they're busy.
like if they just came in and just did the community room, the bathrooms, a one-time fee, what it would be. But you also have to think it's not just a cleaning fee, but if they break something,
Yeah.
what?
If they
Like-
damage the walls, if they
Well,
damage
they
our
would
equipment,
pay
if
for
they
the
damage.
damage. We have to have some kind of a contract signed agreement.
We do, she put it in there for everyone to look at. We can ask her.
This is the current one we have. I'd like to update it.
Well, we need to update it. We don't have that. If they break or put a hole in the wall. then-
Well, can we do like hotel, credit card on account?
Yeah, take a credit card home.
We cannot, those numbers.
You don't want to.
Mm-mm.
You can't what?
We don't hold credit card numbers.
You don't want to have, that's a liability risk. You don't
And our auditors,
Then you know what you need to do is make the $500 deposit up front. That way you know they're gonna clean their
I don't think we need it that much.
No, no one's gonna
Why
want
not?
to rent.
Yeah, they
No one's
Yeah,
gonna want to
they
rent.
won't
Look at
rent.
the deposit. If they comply with the agreement, they get it back.
You still gotta print $500.
Hotel rooms, a hotel
Put
room's
on a credit card.
$150. A hotel room's
Not everyone has credit
$150.
cards.
You can charge it and then refund it. Sure you can.
No.
Why not?
Not, yeah.
That's too much.
I agree we need to raise the 150, but I don't think to 500.
I would just like to
It's
see,
refundable.
Can you let Mark speak, please?
I would just like to see the deposit equate to a cleaning fee. If the cleaners came in and said, hey, this is a disaster in this room that we rented in the bathrooms, right? What would our cost be? So we don't have to incur that cost on a rental, right? So that's all I would like to see is our baseline coverage.
And I can get that from
I mean,
Morgan.
the other
And
option,
if that's 150, I think I'm fine with that, but if it's over that, then we need to commensurate that price with
all right.
But
Um,
until we change all this, we need to be depositing those checks.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Can't
the
hold
check's
money.
not good.
Right.
Well,
Well,
in so many days, yeah.
And
No,
it's
we
a
just
huge, it's a poor accounting practice to
Yeah,
hold one.
we just need to deposit it.
So,
'Cause
for
I-
sure. But then there had been a time before that there had been concerns about the board having concerns about then reissuing those checks back out, and it was problematic. But I don't think that this board has that concern, so that we can proceed that way.
No?
But we do need to decide, what do we want that fee to be
Yeah,
for,
agreed, yeah.
well, not just that part, but the 2-tier. So for the actual rental for residents, what do we want that fee to be? What do we want that fee to be for non-residents?
50 and 150.
Right
That's
now,
my
it's
recommendation.
75 right now.
Or you said give them a break, $50 for residents, 150 for non-residents.
How many non-residents rent a year?
Quite a few.
Really?
Do we even ask for their address? Oh, we do.
Well, when we bring it up,
Yeah.
what,
There's quite a few.
okay. But are they renting it, is a non-resident renting it for a resident retirement party or something like that? Or, is that? I've had to open up the hall
don't.
and it's
Yeah, I've
people
opened it
throwing
sometimes.
parties for a family member here and they don't live here. I don't know who rented it, so I don't know whose name was on the
Yeah.
contract. So,
Change the contract.
I don't understand why somebody would, I guess, a close by Cape Runner couldn't get a room at the Cape Run Lions
Right, or
community.
Caledonia, wherever they
Right, or
go.
would come here, or the fire department, I could see that, but in general, how many, what are we looking at? Is this just a feel-good thing that we tell the residents we're getting them a break and we're charging non-residents? We do that for
We do that
ambulance,
for,
ambulance accidents, we charge non-resident people more money.
we do that for the dog park.
Oh, for dog fees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially Candlewick residents, right? They can't get into their clubhouse.
No,
then
I don't know how often that happens, that's what I'm asking.
Sorry, this is the next close.
we are the cheapest around.
I know,
So it gets rented.
that was the purpose.
Well,
for it.
why don't
We
we just leave the 75 for residents and then make a higher one for non-residents?
125 or 150.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
125 or 150, what's the number?
125.
150 it is.
Let's see.
150?
I'm good with 150 for non-resident.
150?
Hey, isn't this the same deal,
This is a
Carrie?
nice
Veterans
facility.
Park?
So
I-
this has nothing to do with that right now.
Okay, so villages around our size that have rentals, they have $125 per day out in Brighton with a deposit of 125. 100 and 100, and they have it broken up into 3 categories. So if you're gonna rent the whole building, it's $600. If you're gonna, they must have a small room and a large room. So they have 100 for their small room, 200 for their
And
large
we keep
room.
the boardroom locked.
Yeah, we have to with these mics. I know we used to be able to rent. 200 out in Swansea.
You tell us the fees, we already agreed on the fees.
Okay, this one, Forest View. During the week, it's $100, and on the weekends, it's $175, and a deposit of $150. So those are the ones that responded to us.
In that room one
Well, it's on call, it's
time.
on their schedule, it's,
2, 4, 6, 8 times.
Right, so right now, so from the fee side, we're talking, right now, we feel like residents say it's at 75, non-residents at 150.
I agree.
That's fair.
Okay, so that part we've gotten, so the next part of that is the deposit side of things, is what we're
Then it
kind
gets
of in
refunded
debate
by
of.
the village.
Right, so everything gets deposited, and then that number is the number that's in question in terms of how much do we take for the security deposit.
200.
It could be fine. I just wouldn't mind knowing what the number would be for the cleaning service.
Well, she comes twice a week regardless. So she's here. like
I'd
you
have to
said.
ask them after we have the tree lighting, she comes in and she does a clean. So if someone would leave it like a tree lighting, worst case scenario, because
And it was bad after
it's
the
bad
too.
every year.
Sure.
What is that charge?
Yeah, that would be nice to know.
You know,
Okay,
Let me ask
So-
you this though. Wait a minute. She comes in twice a week.
She does a small clean on Tuesdays, like take out garbage so it doesn't sit in here and smell.
She vacuums, she
Vacuum.
takes down the
You're gonna get them on a roll. You're gonna get them on a
But-
roll.
We're paying. You come 2 times a week regardless.
That's why they can't take the
Right,
garbage.
but sometimes you have to have a deep, like,
I understand,
because
but
what happens if
does
that room
she,
needs
does
to
she
be
clean,
reused?
does she sweep and mop that room once a week?
Yes,
Once a week?
yes.
But there have been times when we've had to call in for an extra cleaning because we need that room for something else
Okay.
during the week. You know,
Okay.
and she doesn't usually come till Tuesday. So if there's something happening here on Monday and there was a party on Sunday or
Sunday,
Saturday, you would have potential cleaning.
call me, I'll do it for her.
Okay. So the other portion of this is whatever we decide from a security deposit standpoint. We
I'm
will-
gonna say
we
she's
will-
gonna do like
we will
180.
apply that security deposit amount to
Her fees.
residents, non-residents, and any of our non-for-profit organizations who use the space.
Have we ever kept a deposit because it was dirty?
We tried to one time, but again, it was that situation where we could not prove
Oh,
where,
fix that one.
who,
So it doesn't happen a lot.
no.
Okay, that's my answer.
So I guess I'm okay with the 150 deposit. I took the 1250 a month, divide by 8, gave us 156.25. So that would be like one
That's
additional
like an extra
cleaning.
cleaning. If she's had
So-
to come in and clean that. Let her know that too.
All right, so it seems like we're happy then at a security deposit of 150.
I
Is
think
that a-
so, yeah.
And we are happy with that number to apply to non-for-profits as well.
Yes,
Yes?
yes.
Okay.
So it's 225 for a non-resident
All right.
or
My
resident.
question, well, maybe that's an internal policy.
We're trying to do that.
Like, do you do that once a year? So, like football, right? They come in every Thursday for 3 months, right? So you get their 150 deposit. Do you just keep that on file
Yeah.
for 10 years? Do you
No.
No,
want
no,
to?
no, no.
We'll create, I think that needs a policy to refund it once a year annually, and then we recollect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
long
I
as
agree
they
with
clean up, and which I've been here while they've had football dinners for the two players, and they did a really nice job.
I would think if we came to one of our local entities like that and
And say,
somebody
"Hey, you
did
need to-
something, they would come right
You
back.
need to come back
and
and
they'd
clean
fix
this
it
mess.
right away.
Otherwise, we're gonna keep your deposit.
No,
They'll come.
I mean, it would even be, they would come back just on principle to make sure that it was.
Right.
Yeah.
They would apologize.
It's
and
a nice
right.
facility.
I think that we have guidance to move forward and bring it back, the policy. All right, ready to move on?
Yes.
Motion to discuss ADT quote for security, fire, and cameras.
Jeez. Do we need more cameras anywhere else?
Move to discuss.
Second.
Motion by Owen, second by Jeff.
Tired.
Yep, go ahead, Carrie.
All right. So we need to do something. Our cameras are out of date and the system that records it is really out of date and it's not in compliance with FOIA because it records over itself after 14 days. So if someone FOIAs, and it has happened and it's happened within the last year, if someone FOIAs it after that, the video, the security cameras, and it's not just been at the meetings. We've had, issues in the parking lot. We've had kids, writing graffiti out there, right? Hold on. We are not in compliance with FOIA. And Owen can attest, when we had a work comp issue, I literally had to stand there and video record it because the system that it records on is so old, it does not work on any newer laptops or computers.
So I agree. And even ADT only holds it for 90 days. But this was brought before the board 2 years ago. I mean, this is something that we need to go get bids on. ADT is not the only person out there.
And here's my
I
question.
mean, we need to put a packet together. It needs to go for RFP and we need to look. I mean, I don't know why we went right back to ADT when the board, that different board, some of you weren't here, we said the same thing. We should have to be able to see bids. So I don't know why this came back like this without going out for bids.
And
I
why-
agree, we need update.
Why can't we own our own, other than, we can have a service like ADT, but we can own our own system of security cameras.
Sure we can. Who's gonna maintain it? I mean, who's gonna?
It's
Yeah.
involving recording.
No.
It's somebody has to download it, someone has to install them, someone has to monitor it. I mean,
Also,
we do have ADT monitor our, is it
Fire,
the fire system?
right,
But I mean, we should put all that out and get bids from everybody. I mean,
I agree.
ADT is expensive. I mean,
Very.
I'm even looking at Simple Safe. Christie put me onto them. I mean, but there are other services out there, and I mean, just our ordinance says 3 bids.
Yeah, consensus, RFP,
Yes.
Yep, move on.
okay.
you good with that?
Ta-da.
Follow the ordinance.
Motion to discuss liability insurance quote for the Village of Poplar Grove from IMLRMA and ICRMD.
Move to discuss.
Second,
Motion by Dan. Second by Jeff. All right, mine got lost in my. All right, so it was, our liability insurance comes around on December the 1st for renewal. And it had not been bid or reviewed in about 7 years. So I acquired 2 quotes to look at, you know, and so everyone got the messages that I forwarded on from our existing. You know, I just wanted to make sure that we do our due diligence too. So I'm open for thoughts, suggestions, but we need to make decisions so we have carry. Okay,
If I may,
please
I-
take it away, Owen.
they both need to come here and present to us. I mean, this is a very big package of things, and you know, rather than getting in the weeds with some of this coverages and stuff and doing it via emails, Matt Ripplingers come here every year. They should both be here to present the packages and go over it with all of us. I'm the only licensed insurance agent here, and it's not my place to go through these things. I mean, I did review this stuff, and I'm very familiar with it. I represent our current carrier. And it's very well, and we only qualify for maybe 3 insurance companies at our level. Because you have to get at a $500,000 premium to get into some of the other pools with Liberty Mutual and Gallagher and some of those other pools. These are probably our only 2 options when it comes to that.
right.
But they should be here, and they should be able to go through their presentations and go through this. I mean, I saw did you email out their proposal, their renewal?
It's in the packet.
It's in the pack, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's, you know, we have this one here.
Can you
but-
explain, I'm sorry, can you explain the 5 million? One more, so we're not insuring $5 million worth of,
No, our premium. So our premium for the different insurance, they're not all real insurance companies. They're all pools. We all pull our money together. And this company manages this pool. And they pay out of their pool the premiums, and then they reinsure on top of that. So at our premium level, you know, our current, the 2 competing ones at these level are Illinois Municipal League and IMRCT. IMRCT insures more than they do. But if we wanted to even go look at a Liberty Mutual pool or a Gallagher pool, we don't pay enough premium for that. There's 3 out there that will do us, and the other one's not very good. But
Right.
I mean, this is our only 2 options, but they should be here to go through this. I mean, I don't really feel, yeah, the other one, I mean, but I don't feel comfortable, you know, going, I mean, there's a million questions in here. I mean, Jeff called me on some questions I was able to answer, but I mean, I don't feel right sitting here and going through this. I'm not the representative for these companies. They both should be here.
Okay.
And Matt's always
Consensus that you
coming,
would like a
and-
presentation?
Yeah, and I just want to, should I tell you what I said?
Whatever, sure. You have to-
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Did you hear the peanut gallery crackling over here?
welcome back.
No, I remember the other insurance company that just gave us a new quote. We had issues in the past with them. Sometimes, you know, and if you guys read the email that was sent back to Christie from our current insurer, this is liability insurance, correct? So this is all of our parks, our assets,
liability and property.
liability and property, right? sometimes you pay a little more money for good service. And I do remember the company that bid in against our current company was a previous company that we had before this company. And we did have a lot of issues with them. That's why we changed.
I mean, it's hard to manage risks when you don't have a local agent. That's why that other company that we're currently insured with, they get local agents to present their products. He's the only agent in the whole state. I mean, I met him. He's a good guy. I met him down IML. I've met him at some other things. I mean,
So this
the
was our,
current agent that they just hired, he's new, and they've got a new director taking over too. But I mean, it's, you know, not to get into the weeds, but I mean, you know, they just summarized all of the property together. They summarized all the coverage together, and, you know, ICRMT, when we first had them come out and bid, they visited each thing that we insured, each well, each location, everything. They did risk assessments. They were out here to do all those things. I mean, that's what a local, and Matt comes every year. He also does our health insurance, and they come and they, you know, they present. I mean, that's what they get paid to do. That's the service we're paying for. So they both should be here. They both should present.
All right, so I will have them come out to our next meeting.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on. Number 14, motion to discuss permit inspection, code enforcement, and zoning services.
Motion to discuss,
Motion by Mark. Second by Sine. Mr. Allgood?
All right, so over the last 4, 5, 6 months, I've been pouring through information, looking at historical information, been digging through a lot of stuff here. And some of the items that I've come up with that have kind of pointed me in this direction, and these are numbers from research. If we look at new home builds in the village of Poplar Grove, let's look at 2022, 23, 24, and 25. So those 4 years, there were 50 new home permits that were pulled in the village of Poplar Grove. We do not have somebody that is in our office every day to answer questions for our residents. We do not have somebody in our office every day to issue what I would consider a transaction permit. So this would be a permit that basically doesn't need a review. Somebody wants to re-roof their house. Somebody wants to put siding on their house. You know, does this really need to go through a code review? I really don't think so. So some of these items, you know, these should be transactional permits. I know that if you're looking up here, and it says turnaround time for small projects, decks, roofs, and driveways. I know that the last 2 contractors I talked to, and the last time I pulled a building permit, that 1 to 3 days would have been a dream come true. When I pulled my last permit, it was almost 14 days for me to get a permit for a freestanding 12 by 14 deck. That was, the excuse I heard was the inspector was not available. So this puts me in a position where I have to say, do we need to put somebody in a building inspector position working for the village? Somebody that can be 5 hours a day, 25 hours a week. Some people are going to ask about the economics. Do you have that other? To the fiscal year 2024, fiscal year 2025, you can see that the revenue generated was a little over 100,000 for each year. You can see that the expenses were 85,000 for 2024 and 90,000 for 2025. So it is fairly well balanced. Looking at a salary for a full-time building inspector in this region, based on search results and based on information from ZipRecruiter, that salary is $66,000 to $80,000 a year full-time, which is 11% higher than the national average. Of course, this is a more expensive place to live. The nice thing about having, well, these microphones are really doing something fun today. The nice thing about having a code of having a building official in the building 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, is this just takes some of the burden off of the clerk and the deputy clerk, other people that are having to, receive information and issue permits. I believe that this will help enhance customer service, so we don't have complaints about it's taking me too long to get a permit or it's taking me too long to get an inspection. I do believe that looking at the revenue versus expenses, if we were to bring on somebody and pay them $40 an hour, which would be at the high end of what the research average would be, we're still at $52,000 a year for that. But that person could also be used for code enforcement. So now we have to keep in mind when it comes to having a building official and somebody that's code enforcement, a building official is a hired employee. Code enforcement is an appointed officer. So that would be, I believe, the appointment would be to the discretion of the village president as to whether or not they would want to appoint the building inspector to also be the code enforcement official. Looking at a publication that literally had just hit, that just was really published hours ago. The city of Marengo is looking for a code enforcement officer, paying $26 to $33 an hour. That's still less than what we would be offering. So we have some room to work with this. What I would like to, consensus from the board as to whether or not I continue on and have conversations with, say, Boone County or other entities on IDGs for backup, whether or not, we can talk with BNF, whether BNF would like to stay on for planning, whether or not I could have conversation with Fair Grant in the event that BNF does not want to continue with planning. This is what I'm looking at right now. I would like to try to, one, improve customer service and start planning for the future. We just went through the process of making 50 new home sites available to be built on. What I don't think you guys understand, and that's the reason why that 50 for 2022 to 2025 was important to me, is all 50 of them lots were sold before the zoning was even approved. I don't think it's going to take 4 years to build 50 houses. I think it's going to take half that time. So we're sitting on the threshold of a possible, upswing in growth, and we need to be prepared for that. What is the board's opinion on continuing with conversations on looking at IDGs and conversations with Fairground as backup, or continuing conversations with BNF on planning? How would you guys like to proceed?
Here's my
Wait,
question.
wait.
I think we should pursue it, absolutely, because as an inspector that's an employee of ours
Yes.
is entitled to tort immunity, which they can accept a picture. I mean, there's so many times I hear from people that, I dug this hole, or I've got the flashing on, or I've got the ice guard on, but we have to wait for, BNF to come out and actually look at it. They can't accept a picture because they don't have tort immunity. We do. Other municipalities, when I did the footings on my buildings in Winnebago, they accept pictures. Dave's experienced where, him and I have talked about this. When it's an employee of the village, and it's the small things. The big things, okay, you need to be on site for, but a footing, a hole in the ground, you can submit a picture and that we can put in the file. And we have tort immunity on that. But we should investigate it, absolutely.
Not that a footing is not an important component, because a footing is actually probably the most important component
But you get
in
pictures
a
of it.
build. But yeah,
Timing. I have time to dig a hole.
it's
Yeah.
timing, but timing equates
Weather.
to customer service.
Yeah, weather. Yeah.
Poor customer service equates to complaints, and this is some of the things that I think that need to really be looked at. Yes, an employee of the village would have they have tort immunity. Guaranteed tort immunity. There are some advantages to that happening, But at this point, there are a lot of little things I've looked at that we could go into great depth with, that we don't jump down that rabbit hole tonight. I just want consensus as to whether or not the board would like me to continue investigating and exploring IDGs and having conversations with Fairgram and other individuals on what we could possibly do, in this situation.
Okay, well, let's let the board answer.
You mean IGAs?
All right,
Yeah.
Jeff, please.
You said IGB.
Have we talked to BNF about if you're looking to put someone here? Because I think your quote on getting someone here is a lot more than $60,000 a year. If we have issues, we should talk to Ken. He represents BNF. He's here tonight. And I think if there's issues, you guys should talk to him one-on-one in a private conversation with the village president. If there's things you don't like that he does, you should bring to his attention. I think you should also look at the fact of how many municipalities do you guys represent? A ballpark?
Probably represent 75 to 100.
75 to 100. So I think if there's a customer service issue, this is something that maybe Dave, you and Christy could sit down and speak with Ken. I think you're kind of putting him on the spot tonight. To me, it's kind of rude. I understand you have this on here, and I hope that's the reason he's here and to come to our meetings and answer. But I think I haven't seen, are we losing money by having BNF here? Are we making any money by having BNF here? I don't see this here in your numbers. I don't see, this is what we're losing. This is what we're making. This is what we're paying. I need to see that before I would consider getting rid of. These guys are professionals. They have a lot of experience. And if you get someone off Indeed that doesn't have the experience, you guys say, what'd you call it?
Tort immunity.
Yeah, tort immunity. Anyone can sue anybody. It would still put us at a greater risk of liability with an employee. Sure it would. But I don't think how the approach that we're doing this tonight, we're just discussing it. But I think if you have issues with BNF, because I think BNF does a good job. I've heard complaints about him, and I've called Ken. When I have a complaint, I go straight to him. If I have a complaint about any of his employees, I've called him and told him, hey, we can't have this. You guys work for our residents. And he, so far as I know, took care of it because I haven't heard any more complaints. But I think that we should really look at this, because when we do have a growth spurt, these guys are the professionals. They've been here a long time. I think they're going to be the ones to cover our butts and have the answers for the builders if they do have a growth spurt. I mean, Owen, you've talked about it in the previous, when you were village president, to reach out to the county. We had in-house inspectors and we had nothing but problems. When we had our own inspectors, the last 3 that we've had over the 15 years I've been here, we've had major issues.
Those
with
were
those.
independent contractors.
Well,
not
okay,
employees. And,
but pretty much like an employee. It seemed like they were employees.
well,
Independent contractors, that's fine, but we haven't had any lawsuits or anything like that. And like, I see half-assed garages building backyards. I see things down at the airport that shouldn't have been passed that were by our, third-party inspectors. So I think we should really, it's like, if we have an issue, I think we should sit down with BNF.
Well,
And if we have,
it has
any
been,
fears or anything like that, we should sit down with BNF.
Dan?
But that's my consent.
I'll get back to you in
My,
just a second.
my biggest concern, because this has happened to us in the last administration, with the city planning aspect of it, we got caught with our pants down. Belvedere got a new mayor, and there's this moonlighting for us, and the mayor just, nope, no more. And then, Ken took it over. Thank God we had that backup. And that's my biggest concern. That's a major concern, would we get caught with our pants down again? It's saying they did not want to carry on with the city planning aspect of it. They charged us a reasonable rate for what they're doing. I think it was like, what, $5 more an hour than what we were paying before. And that was a big deal because planning and zoning shuts down, and that there's nothing they can do to move forward without a planner. That's a big concern for me because it has happened to us before, and I wouldn't want to see that happen again. And that's my my major concern.
We're not talking planning. He said keep them for planning or look at
But
getting,
would they, I mean, I'm saying,
Yeah, would they?
what would be their initiative to,
Stay
you
here.
know?
that planning is a separate service from building inspection.
And planning,
And
zoning expenses bring in 13,000, where permit fees, inspection fees bring in almost 150 to 200,000.
I was just stating it was a concern because it has happened to us.
Right,
That was
and
it.
what is our backup right now?
Yeah, right.
All right, so at bare minimum, we should be having conversations to make sure that we have a backup. If we don't have a backup right now, you know, I've heard wonderful things about Fairground. I've heard some really interesting things about Fairground. I've heard wonderful things about the county. I've heard bad things about the county. I've heard all kinds of things, but what it comes down to is what if we lose BNF on the planning side?
Why would
Where's
we?
our backup?
Why would we?
Well, I think right now we're looking for a consensus, so and Ken, feel free if you'd like to chime in here.
Well, I mean, this is,
an awkward situation.
no, it's not awkward at all. I think that, I mean, it's fair. I guess my answer is, if anyone's unhappy with anything that we do, to come to me or Vince and say, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like how you did it. I don't like how, whatever it is, we are open to make changes to whatever it is. We work for you. It's not our rule. It's, you know, we adopt the codes and we enforce those codes. And understood if some people don't like it. Look, it's enforcement. It's regulation. People are not going to like things that we do. It's a fact. But if there's specific things that you're unhappy with how we handle the situation, then let me know and we will adjust the situation. I mean, it's not perfect. I'll admit that nothing is perfect when you're dealing with, you go to someone's house and tell them to paint their house or fix their fence. How do you think they're going to react? I mean, they don't react in a nice way, right? No one wants to be told what to do with their property. That's a fact. But that, you know, we adopt the ordinances are adopted and we try to enforce the ordinances. So once again, if there's something specific you want me to address, then let me know. If it's a personnel issue, let me know what it is. And we will make whatever adjustments we need to make. We've been with the village since 2017. We're happy to be here. You know, we're here to, you know, we're here to work for you. So let us know what we can do.
well, Ken, you've had several meetings with me here with builders of the back office. You
Yes.
do a great job of planning, but you fall victim to, like many people do with employees. I mean, you didn't make one meeting that I had here with Joe Connorino, and the kid just said, I'm busy, I can't get to it. And it was a month to turn that permit around, and it was the identical plans for another house. So
And that's just a horrible answer.
I told him that. I was very loud when I told him that.
I'm
I
sure
said,
you were. I mean, it's just it's a bad, I mean,
and I said,
anybody.
that's not my problem. That's a you problem.
Yes.
You don't come here and sit down with one of our builders and say, I'm sorry, we're shorthanded. But it's not code enforcement. That's fine. Your plan review is phenomenal. I've been in many plan reviews with you. You understand with building is I can pour a concrete today. I need someone to come and look, and you guys aren't around. So that's the timing part is the difficult part. And I don't know how to address that because we're not quite busy enough for you to be here every day. That's why we have the days that we have and when you guys can drive
Yeah.
by. And you can't accept pictures. You know, I've got the flashing on. I can't finish the roof. I've got a good day. It's not windy today. I can send my guys up here, but you're not going to be here till Wednesday and it's Monday. Wednesday, it's going to be windy. You know, you can't accept the pictures of the ice shield.
I mean, Owen,
the other things
in fairness, have we ever taken pictures before? Yes, because we're not going to have a roof sit there for 2 days
Right.
and not cover it.
But
You know, send me the picture, make sure I can see the address on the house when you take the picture and we'll review it.
But like anything, you're not there all the time.
I do know what you're saying.
And sometimes that builder or that contractor doesn't get you. He gets your person in the office that just says, I can't get to anybody. And now they're in the community and now they're mad. So the other items that you do are great. and the building permit's not, the building inspections for projects, not entirely your fault. I mean, we've always struggled with that. You know, we're just kind of like right here, but we're not there. We're in between. Planning and zoning stuff takes time, and that's fine. Code enforcement, all right, the guy didn't paint his house last week. We can go talk to him next week. But, you know, I got to hold up. I got to fix this. Those things. And
I mean, if you want, I mean, I guess, Owen, I guess my response is, if you want us here every day, we'll be here every day, but there's a cost. I mean,
Right, absolutely.
the reality is there's a cost to it.
Absolutely.
And I
Then that's
and
that
I
part of
understand.
that cost. I mean, you can't have somebody sitting here, you know, waiting that maybe we're going to pour something, or do we do an intergovernment agreement with the county inspector who's here all the time? Can go drive by on his way home, and then we can just investigate that. It's not like,
you know,
not like you're out the door. Go bye. I mean,
no,
maybe they come back and say no. I mean,
we are Drew's backup,
right?
right?
Exactly.
We work for Drew as well.
And that would be my thought process.
Mhm.
And Drew does a great job. He's been there forever.
You know, so
And it's just that part of it, which I feel your pain with employees. You never know who they're going to get on the phone. Who are they going to get on
we
the
try
phone?
to be, Owen, you know how it is. We try to be
absolutely-
consistent with
I
who we
absolutely-
send you.
yeah, I absolutely-
Consistency is important.
Yeah, who you send, yeah. I mean,
You know.
when the guy calls here, oh, they're not here, you got to wait till tomorrow. I mean, so
Right now, we do not have a consensus, so I haven't heard from everybody yet. And does anyone else like to weigh in on the question? Because right now, we don't have a consensus to continue and move forward with any additional.
yes, you do. You do.
I don't have a problem with them
We're just
more
looking.
investigating. Yeah, I
We're
mean,
looking. We're not.
knowledge is power, you know? I have no problem with them
And Dave's willing to structure it all and present it. which
to
God bless.
investigate. I mean, most of the stuff we were talking about tonight is to go out and investigate things, so I have no problem with them investigating things, no.
Yeah. And that's why. It's
The
not-
worst we can do is say no, you know?
Right, so, you know, my position is, I'm not looking to save dollars, I'm looking to increase customer service. And like the gentleman said, if we wanted somebody here 5 hours a day, every day, that would happen, but that's gonna increase what you're looking at on this expense. So,
Just,
do we hire a qualified individual to do the job
Part-time
part-time,
or do we talk to Drew?
you know,
What do we-
and, I mean,
Well, like you
which
said,
would
you're
fall-
asking for
which-
consensus for,
which would fall into the situation where you're getting better customer service coverage for the same amount of money.
but you're just asking for a sentence to keep, investigate this and bring the information back to us.
Right.
I understand what the end game is, but that's neither here nor there right now. You're just looking at continue the investigation and bring us back the scenarios.
Right.
I'm fine with the scenarios. I mean,
This is a monumental project, and if I can't get more consensus to continue to investigate what the future would be, then I'm wasting an awful lot of precious time.
Mark, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, current, contractor, has offered, if they need more hours, we can get more hours out of them as well, right? Like I'm concerned, on the budget, right? If we say, yeah, let's go out and recruit somebody that's gonna work here 25 hours a week, right? Like, what kind of utilization are we gonna get out of this person, right? Are we targeting 50% of their time, 40% of their time, 60% of their time? I don't know, like, that's what I'm concerned with, right? So, yes, should we keep on investigating? Great, let's do some fact finding, but I'm not ready to sign up to hire another head right now if I can't justify their cost.
And professionalism.
So it does seem that the board would like you to continue investigating, Mr. Albert.
I'm sorry. can you-
They would like you to continue to investigate.
Yeah, where your hearing is on purpose
Yeah.
sometimes.
I will say too, for the record, that since I've taken office, I know Ken and I have had numerous conversations about personnel things that we have identified and looked to address. And their office has thus far been very kind to adjust and make way for residents with issues and accommodate them. I will also say that during processing in terms of the permit process itself, I am working with Katie in the office to identify gaps in places where we could streamline the process better, and where we're seeing a lack of response, whether it be from, we do have times in which a contractor will pull a permit on behalf of a homeowner. And by doing so, the plan comes to us, it might go to the review process, it might come back out of review non-compliant. We send that back to the contractor to address, and then we wait. And then there are times when the homeowner will contact us and accuse us of not being prompt with their permit because their contractor has not provided the updated information. So I just want to make sure that we all understand the circumstances in which there can be delay, and we're working in ways to try to identify methods to improve those levels of communications to minimize those types of issues.
I've heard there's a discrepancy on the amount of information that's required for
Required
permits
information,
here as opposed to other municipalities too. So I just want to
There
put
is.
that out there.
I did finally get a copy of the SOP, our SOP, that the office follows. And there's some items on there that quite frankly, we should not be asking for because they're outside of the ordinance.
And those are all things that we can adjust if this board so chooses to. I will say in the list that I prepared that has the turnaround times, we did ask the types of required documents that those other municipalities asked for. And in some of those cases, you will see that those other municipalities are even asking for contracts between the homeowner and the contractor to validate that they have the right to pull the permit on behalf of the homeowner. So I think that those are all areas that we can address as a board and set whatever processes we're comfortable with.
Right, but I say like holding up a permit because you want an electrical license from an electrician. We don't perform the testing function. We don't issue the license. It's not required by the state.
Again, we can,
But we're
as
holding up a
this
permit for days
board
over
can
something like
decide
that.
if that's a requirement that they wish to waive in our processes. I don't think that they've ever been addressed. And so as part of your investigation, if you would like to bring those forward, we can.
Like I said, I want to do all of this background work and then we can start going into the very specifics of how it should be designed because the SOP is the last piece of the puzzle. It's not the first piece. The first piece is getting all the information. The last piece is how are you going to make it work?
Sure, but I just want to bring that forward so that if there are documentation that you don't believe that we should have, again, the board can decide what it wants. And that's the procedure that will abide by it.
I'm not even aware that the
So-
board was the one that approved the SOP. Did the board approve this SOP?
I cannot answer, I don't recall.
So. All right, but we have a consensus to continue,
And
so.
what international code year are we on?
You're 21.
21,
Except for
okay.
plumbing.
Plumbing.
Well, the plumbing, because it's the state code. I don't mean to say that way, but they're on the 2014 state plumbing code.
2014 and 2021.
Any other questions?
Imagine if we were on the most updated, is that the most, that's not the most updated.
No, every 3 years,
Every
it gets
3
updated.
So we would be on 24.
So again, if there's a procedure the board does not like, and we would tell you why we do things, why we do what we do, and why we do it. And once again, if you say you don't want us to do that and it doesn't break a law or a rule, then we would adjust accordingly. But when we walked in here, it was bad.
It was really bad.
This was a mess when we came here.
It
And
was.
and we did our best to straighten it out as quickly as we could. Look, there's always room for improvement. I'm never going to say, there's no room. There's always room.
And some of our plan reviews go through our engineer as well, correct?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Chris is a part of it as well.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So it's not just BMF, if there's two companies that have to do a plan review, it's gonna take a little longer.
The thing was a plan review, Jeff. I mean, you're focused on that. We're just talking about
No, I know.
billing permits and
I hear what's going on,
Okay.
Plan
I
review,
hear
they do
it.
a great job.
but I'm just saying,
I think he's talking about plan review. For example, we have a permit out right now, and it's in Chris's hands. Sometimes it's in Chris, sometimes it's in
Which is,
PNF,
which is part of
sometimes
it,
it's both.
and it's part of a normal permit process. It's not a special zoning situation.
right,
I think is the point that Carrie is
Right,
indicating.
I'm not saying that there
So-
aren't parts of the process. I'm saying that we shouldn't have an application for a concrete patio sitting on top of a filing cabinet for a week.
Agreed.
I,
Agreed.
yeah, I agree with that too.
You know,
and if
Totally
there ever
agree.
is, it just takes a phone call. That's what I was like. Why all of a sudden is this an issue? If we have an issue, we go to Ken, or if we have an issue, we go to Chris. These are the two people that oversee all of our construction and permitting pretty much in our village. You know, it's these two. So if there's ever an issue, if someone's reaching out to you, reach out to these two, you know, or reach out to Christie. She can make a phone call.
Happy
and
to make
reach
a phone
out.
call.
Did you know that I had a very interesting experience? On that same permit that took me 2 weeks to get for a deck, I called for a final, and nobody ever showed up.
Did
Well,
you
I've been
tell
in
him?
homes where the electrical box is right under the outdoor spigot. I've seen
Yeah, I mean,
previous
it-
past buildings.
again, if we're going to talk about specific situations, give me the information. I'll look at it. If someone didn't show up, that's unacceptable. So but Dave, I can't respond to that. I don't know when it occurred, the day it occurred, who was assigned to it. I mean, I would have to have all the facts to determine what happened.
I assumed that they'd showed up and had been all taken care of, and then I ran into Vince in the office, and Vince says, "How come you never called for your final?"
Well, and that's, again, that's part of the process is we're also trying to ensure because we have a very poor final ratio right now that we're working on. So, but we, at this point, we have consensus. Dave, you're going to continue to gather information and bring it back to the board. Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna add an additional 25 homes for the next 2 years, what would you speculate that the increase in cost would be to the village?
I don't know. I don't know what do you mean the increase in costs?
What, to have somebody here on a,
We're building 13 homes a year, and next year we build 25 on top of that 13.
We'll provide you more hours to handle the work.
That would definitely drive up the cost.
but you're also collecting permit fees for those homes.
I mean,
I
I know what you're saying, Dave. I hear what you're saying, Dave. Yes. The more work you have, the more man hours it takes.
right.
Correct. And if it's more than one person could do, then we bring a second person. I mean, we provide whatever your need is, and we will address that.
Thank you for waiting, Jeff. Please speak.
Can we get a breakdown?
Of,
I talked to you about this the other day in the office
breakdown of what?
of what we take in and what we pay out.
I just
Like-
provided that to you in that sheet.
Right here.
Did I not
Good.
get it?
right.
This
Trustee
one?
revenue, inspection expenses.
Are we-
code
are we-
enforcement. Yes, we're whole. We don't lose money on it.
We don't lose money on BNF. That's what I wanted to
Yeah,
know.
that's why I put that together, because I knew specifically you would ask.
Okay.
And I did it the last 2 years, so you could see that, and I did each section. So you have your permits and inspections,
Right,
you have your code enforcement, and then you have your zoning.
Okay, and then what is the village actually taking in after all their payments?
We'd have to just do the,
Are we covering our administration fees with the permitting and things like that?
we add an application fee and
Right.
15%.
Okay, so we're not losing money by having BNF here. So why would we want to go with our in-house and have to pay IML, insurance, payroll?
Good question.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay, so to go to the village, trick or treating is October 31st, 2025, 4 PM to 7 PM. Board of Trustee meeting, November 12th, 2025 at 7 PM. Board of Trustees meeting, November 19th, 2025 at 7 PM. Village Hall will be closed for Thanksgiving holiday. And I note that Christmas tree lighting will be on the 22nd.
Oh, yeah.
We have a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 5 Illinois CS 120/2, C11, to discuss litigation when an action against, affecting on, or behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff, second by Sine.
Thank you everyone for coming tonight.
Hold on, I gotta do a roll call.
Oh,
Jeff Goings.
you here?
No, yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Dan Cheek.
Still here.
No, we have to go into executive motion. Real quick. This won't be.
Dan Cheek.
Yes.
Mark Vance. Dave Allgood. Owen Costanza. Sine Hubbard.
We enter into executive session October 22nd, 2025 at 9:09 PM.
Okay, hold on, I gotta
Kill YouTube.
pause the video.
Thanks, Chris.
Pause
Thank
the
you guys. Have a
cameras.
good night.
Everyone turn off your mics.
Turn off your mics.
It did not. Yes. But everyone.
Can you go back into?
We already did that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do a roll call.
Yeah, you up in 6 hours.
All right, so we're back from executive session 9:17 on Wednesday, October the 22nd, 2025. Roll call.
Jeff Goings,
Still here.
Dan Cheek,
Yeah.
Sine Hubbard, Owen Costanza, Dave Allgood, Mark Vance.
Yes. Here.
You know, it's just a random sheet.
Right, all right.
Motion. Oh, Chris.
Oh,
Motion to
Christie's
approve
here and-
resolution 2025-24, resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, approving and authorizing the village president to execute a settlement agreement with Louis Tenor Jr.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff, second by Owen. Okay, no discussion? Roll call?
Sine Hubbard, Mark Vance,
Yes.
Owen Costanza, Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Dave Allgood.
Resolution 2025-24 passes. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 2025-25, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, approving the authorization of the village president to execute a settlement agreement with Kristen Lee Tenor? Motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Dave Allgood, Sine Hubbard, Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Owen Costanza, Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Mark Vance.
Yes.
All right, resolution 2025-25 passes.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Mark, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Can I keep this?
We are adjourned at 9:19
No.
PM.
Oh, you got 3 of them.
No, they're all
Oh,
different.
no, they're all different.